Hey family, this is Wayne Diamond with another edition of GT News. We're talking about our COVID-19 conversation series. Got a very special one for you today, talking to some radio veterans, and we're just going to check in around the country in the different cities they in, get their perspective, because talking in our community, people wondering what's going on in other areas. Are they dealing with the same issues, the shortages, the downfalls and different things? So we want to check in with these radio veterans, as I know they have their pulse on their community. So Lou, we'll start you off. Just say who you are and what city you're in.
Lou Bennett, Memphis, Tennessee, here in the big city of Memphis. And I'll tell you what, yeah, we are touched by this coronavirus, if you will, COVID-19, and people here are really going through. And so we are under a stay-at-home order. So we're doing that right now as we speak. New cases for a total of 7,070 is where the number is here of cases of coronavirus, people with that. So just from yesterday, 330 new cases have come into the fold. So this thing is not, it's going to be with us for some time. And it's kind of scary. Because if we, like we said, we're under the stay-at-home order, and if we're not paying attention to that, yeah, you may have to go out and stuff, but still, you got to protect yourself. Wear your cover, of course, your mask or whatever, gloves if you need that. But when you come back home, man, you need to, pretty much undress there at the door and go and wash up. Definitely wash your hands, because your hands be all over the place, and you just don't know what is on the surface that you touch or whatever. So, this thing is real.
We'll get to some specifics here in each area. But Ayana, can you go and weigh in? Where are you?
I am in Houston, Texas, and they're saying that we're supposed to be the next epicenter, hoping not. We've been seeing our cases rise as well. We're under lockdown. I know Governor Abbott is trying to slowly open things up. I'm going to let the first batch of people see how that works out while I hold back here and, breathe my air. I'm just going to breathe my air. But and I'm starting to see it slowly get closer. At first it was happening in Wuhan. And then afterwards, you're seeing it kind of creep in, and you hear about it on the East Coast. And now it's starting to be, people close to my family. At my doctor's office, some of the people there have gotten the virus. My sister's maid of honor was struggling, with her lungs. She got pneumonia and COVID-19. So it's starting to get, that circle of, it's starting to get closer. It's starting to get closer.
Tim, want to tell us where you are?
Tim's still out in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains in Roanoke, Virginia. And, we were fortunate because our governor is a former Dr. Northam, right? And I mean, he put everything on lockdown around March 13th. And we have all been ziplocked pretty much since then. I mean, they didn't do a complete shutdown of the state, because you find people still acting a fool, going out having cookouts and, hooping down at the park, going out to the beach. He had to shut all of that down, all of the running trails, everything, because people were just acting a fool. And they weren't taking it serious until all of the cases started coming up. I think we're somewhere in that 4,000 to 5,000 cases statewide, and confirmed is definitely maybe 2,500, and then the deaths are starting to creep up a little bit every day. So we've got quite a ways to go before the curve is flattened, but we've been blessed that we hadn't been hit really that hard, considering that we're that close to the DC metro. That's where a lot, between there and Baltimore, a lot of cases from New York were coming there, and it's kind of moving westward in that direction.
Mark, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I'm Magic Mark Petrie from Port Arthur, Texas. Everybody's on lockdown over here as well. Even to go to see the doctor now, we're on the teleserve, where you have to call in and talk with the doctor by phone. I'm part of a essential crew at my job here at a chemical company. And when we're going in, we're zapped by a I guess, infrared camera to check your temperature. And if you're above 98.5, 98.6, they send you to medical and send you home if you're running a fever to try to keep everybody, separated and everything. We're on 14 days on, 14 days off to rotate the crews. And everybody's wearing a mask when we go to the grocery stores here, keeping our distance. And we're just waiting and hoping that this thing is over real soon.
Tony, where are you?
I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana. Everybody's heard about New Orleans, because they party down there, so they're really getting hit down there. But there's also a place in Louisiana called The Place, Louisiana, which is like 109 miles from where I'm at. And we just had an article in the paper here where per capita, La Place, Louisiana is being hit harder than anywhere in the country. So, it's pretty serious down here. And, I just now moved down here. So I was trying to go see my children in Houston and got stopped actually trying to go into Texas. So I'm just going straight to work and coming straight back to where they got me. So I haven't even I met the man that hired me, and that's it. I haven't met anybody that I work with. They're all working from home. But I just got here, so I'm actually going into the building. But we're also under lockdown order here. I think that happened like the day after I got here. So it's crazy down here. But we got protests down here where people are wanting to get back to work. So, and like I said, I'll let them go out there first, and I'll see how they feel from 2 weeks from now before I go out there, though.
And I'm gonna touch on that just a minute. We want to check in with Chris first. Chris, tell them where you are.
I am Chris Clay. I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's crazy, man. We're on 24-hour lockdown. It's about 7,000 cases. Look like the grocery stores are finally starting to catch up. I went to a grocery store today and finally seen some toilet paper, man. I was like, that's amazing.
Wow.
But it's the cops are stopping you if you're on the road. If you don't have an essential letter, you can get fined for that. So it's a scary time, man. 7,000 cases in the metro. It's kind of, definitely we just want to stay home, man.
Yeah. Well, I want to get you all's perspective on, they're trying to force everybody to go back, and it's saying states want to open up and get off the order, Texas being the first. And how's your community feeling about that, Tim?
Well, we're fortunate. I think it goes between blue and red states, and our state is very blue, right? Governor Northam, we were supposed to be off of lockdown. I think the first tentative date was at the end of this month, and then they moved it to the end of May, and now they're talking June 10th before they start really relaxing everything. We have some retail, just 10 people or less in there, and you have to have those essential letters. We're not required. They're not pulling us over like Chris was saying a few minutes ago. But, I don't see a whole lot of movement out of people. But, we didn't have protests, I don't think, in the state at all because, there was a call to liberate Virginia too, but I don't think anybody in Richmond went over there and acted a fool. So everything is still pretty cool here, but we have to take things hour by hour, because anything could jump off at any moment.
Ayana, are they feeling the reopening in Houston?
I'm not. So it's kind of hard because I'm really taking the social distancing pretty seriously. We started around it was spring break when I actually started staying in my home and really cutting off communication from people. But from just talking to my neighbors, no, we're not in a rush to get back to work. Very thankful to be able to work from home. Actually, we were talking about this last night. Of course, we're blessed to be in this position where we can work from home, but it's kind of hard when you have a single mother who has children who needs to work at a grocery store or work in retail. Right. She doesn't have that luxury, or she's just not able to be home. So I understand that getting back to work is really important, but these are also people who are going to be in contact with a lot of individuals that will get sick and will keep this sickness circulating. So I understand we want to, make our money, but it's no good you know, our money is supposed to help us live. if we cannot, if we don't have life, then, you know, what's the, if you can't guarantee that I can come home from my job alive and healthy, then do I really want to go to that job right now? And it's just, you know, it's a really confusing and scary place to be in, especially for individuals who they are truly depending on that money and really ready to get back to work. You know,
Right.
how do you choose between your paycheck and your health, your life, basically? So
And Lou, how are people dealing with unemployment in Memphis?
It's a mess, man. It truly is. But they're trying to be creative. Just like a lot, you know, here in Memphis, there's, you know, especially Beale Street, about like New Orleans on, you know, the big street there. But a lot of clubs and things of that nature, restaurants and things, they had to shut down. You know, of course, they got the curbside and the, you know, the takeout and stuff like that. They'll bring it out to you. But still, there are a lot of workers who were laid off. And so they're thinking of creative ways to do things, you know. Now that we're spending more time at home, we're finding out there's a lot of things we need to do around our houses. So some people are getting or getting these people who've been laid off to come to their house and do little odd end jobs, man, to try to make it. Because they're, again, like Ayana said, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? You need the money so you can live. You got to be able to go and hopefully purchase that toilet paper if there's some. I just came from the store today too, and I didn't see any today. Of course, we don't need any, but praise God, even if we run out, I got some old socks around somewhere. So
not old socks.
We'll make it somehow, some way. But no, on the real though, man, this thing really puts things in perspective, man, and make us, you know, shift back and you know, I always want to go back to the higher power, and I think it you know, puts him first in everything that we do. You know, it just goes to show you, all the money you have in the world, yeah, you might have it, but you're still going to go through this same problem just like the poorest person.
Yeah. Tony, being that Louisiana is a party state, are the people there adhering to wearing masks and gloves, or are they kind of ignoring that? Because I know a lot of areas are having a hard time with that.
Well, I've noticed that when I go out there to Karen Crow, where the station is located, kind of in the suburbs, you'll see the mask and the gloves. I'll stop and get gas out there. The people at the gas station got on masks and gloves. But then when I come back through the hood, if I should have to stop at a station, not only am I scared to get out my car, but also I notice that they're very, very, I mean, brothers are still hanging out on the corner.
Yeah.
The gas stations, you know, they got this one corner in Lafayette. I can't believe that the police don't just go by there and arrest everybody. I mean, it's like it's no problem. It's like none of this happening. I mean, I'm talking about like 20 or 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, yeah, but this is a party state, and that's probably why, you know, we're getting hit so hard. You know, they did cancel the Essence Festival this year, but you know, they had Mardi Gras, and no telling how many people were infected by that.
Exactly.
And, Lafayette is pretty, you know, at least where I'm at, but I'm downtown, and everything is closed downtown. You have to go basically into the hood even to go to Burger King. I mean, everything is closed, but there's no drive-throughs up in here. But yeah, probably the fact that Louisiana is known for partying all the time surely didn't help in this situation, right?
Right.
And Mark, being that you in the area where, you know, with one of the biggest refineries, how is the refinery dealing with that and the population? Are they forcing people to go to work? I know people want to work, but it's still you guys in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, in our situation, the essential people have been put on 712s. Some of them are on 1412s. And the non-essential administration have been able to work from home on computers. But everybody who is essential is wearing masks. They've been issued letters of essential personnel and taking their temperature every morning. And everybody's, you know, we're waiting for all this to be over with so that we can get back to normal.
Yeah.
And Chris, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are your restaurants doing down in Charlotte?
Everything is closed except for drive-throughs, man. You know, everything else is closed. So drive-throughs and, you know, Burger King, McDonald's, all these fast food joints, they're making their money. but everything else is closed. You can't go anywhere, sit down and have a meal.
No.
And being that they announced, the governor announced about the school closures, how are your areas handling the non-graduations? Ayanna, you want to touch on that?
I actually have a 17-year-old who his birthday and prom was on the same day. That didn't happen.
Wow.
Yeah, the turn up did not happen.
Wow.
And I asked him about it last night, and he was like, I don't care as long as I get to college. But now it's like, I don't even think that's gonna happen. Like college, you're gonna be in your room here going to college. I feel bad for the seniors of this class year. They're missing out on a lot of good memories and milestones. Senior skip day, prom night, walking across the stage in their cap and gown. I was just telling him, my 17-year-old, I was like, look, hey, maybe I can call some neighbors in the neighborhood that graduated from the high school that we went to, and we can take some senior pictures with you. I was even gonna put them in a little gas mask and just, let's have fun with it. But yeah, it's unfortunate, and but I think the kids, they're seeing the severity of this, and they know, this is not a game. This is something that even the most prepared adults are scrambling and trying to figure out. So the best thing to do right now is stay put, stay home, and, and stay alive, stay healthy. So, when you just break it down to really, this is a life or death situation, and it's really confusing right now. Not only have I never seen anything like this, your grandparents haven't seen anything like this. And if you got your great grandparents, they've never seen anything like this either. And, we're all just really trying to figure it out and keep it moving. And so that's a luxury that I can't give you that right now. But what I can give you is stability and safety. That's what I can give you. So let's be happy that we have that. And just trying to always encourage the kids of the positives here. We're together, we're alive, we're doing well. And, when it's time to turn up, we'll turn up. But for right now, this is turned down.
Yeah.
I know you guys, each one of you talk to people in your community. Do you think they feel the government has been totally honest with us? Anybody just start off?
No, not at all. They and I think it's kind of split on who you talk to, because I think a majority of people who I talk to are not really feeling what's coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. Because, they know that, you can have 2 hours, 3 hours on TV every day and still not say nothing. A majority of folks are just getting information from different sources, like their local government, which our local government has been pretty good with passing along information. Like I said, they did a symposium with all of the CEOs of the hospitals around the area, including the VA, and they basically answered questions offline, and laid everything out. And it was like the most truth. I mean, it was a snooze fest because you didn't have somebody clowning and attacking reporters and stuff, but I need to leave that alone and stay focused. But, they were getting real information, stuff that they could use. And from our community, I see a lot of people adhering to that because, they closed the churches down. When they closed churches down, and on Easter Sunday too, man, ain't nobody playing. We was all attending church online last week. We was
I know, right?
Yeah.
They were giving out, hey Butter, they were giving out what is that, communion cups at the churches. You have to drive through and get your communion cup going back to your house, because they wasn't playing with that.
That's right.
There's really no way to sugarcoat it. I mean, this virus has affected Blacks probably more than any other ethnic.
And you know why?
And there's such this issue that they don't take it serious. There's underlying health issues. So why do you think that Blacks are not taking this serious?
Well, first off, there was something that was floating around that I saw from the very beginning of this thing, stating that it wasn't going to hit the Black community, that we were immune to it. It wasn't going to mess with us.
Right.
And then midway till now, you find out it's all in our community. And you know, just like around here in Memphis, man, all the parks had to be closed down because people couldn't, you know, they couldn't follow directions, the distance, you know, they couldn't hang with that. So I drive around. Matter of fact, there's a park just around the corner from my house here, and I was driving by earlier today and saw where they finally took the goal off the basketball goal down because they were congregating over there playing ball. None of them had masks on. They were out there playing, and you know, and so when are we going to get it, man? Just follow directions. If all of us would follow directions, I think we can curtail this thing, or at least slow it down to where, you know, because here's the thing, just like Yana or somebody else stated earlier, until we get a hold of it, and that's not going to be until this time next year probably, when the vaccine actually comes out. So all we're going to be doing is transferring it back and forth, even if they go ahead and give us the okay to go back out.
So I know that there is that aspect of people not listening, but I think there's also the fact that we have the pre-existing health conditions that a lot of our family members are dealing with. And then there's also, you know, just being able to social distance. It's just, in some cases, just really not possible for people too, when you have, you know, families that are of large numbers and everyone's living together in this shared space. It's just really hard. And on top of that, a lot of our people are doing the services that they're the grocery store workers, they're the bus drivers, they're, you know, we're
on the front line.
We're on the front line. So, you know, we're going to continue to see, because of the, you know, that layered situation that we're dealing with, we're going to continue to see our people. A lot of us just cannot afford to stay home, cannot afford to not continue, you know, working for our pay. And then I know that they're doing the relief. If you have a house, right? If you own a home, you've gotten that mortgage relief for 3 months, the forbearance. But if you're renting, that's not exactly true. And a lot of people are renting. So, you know, you got to get out there and make that money. And again, my heart goes out to anybody, especially, you know, I'm thinking about single mothers. My heart goes out to people that are facing domestic violence. My heart goes out to kids that are trapped in a house with the person that beats them. Like, this is a very ugly situation for a lot of people.
It truly is.
But to your government question, you know, I really would like to see the bipartisan effort here. I'm so sick of seeing these two sides fight, and I'm so sick of seeing the finger being pointed while our fellow Americans we're dying here, and we're confused, and it's like every day we're getting more divided. You talked about the protests. You know, I think that's a lot of misinformation, confusion. Wear a mask today, don't wear a mask tomorrow. Go out your house today, don't go out. You know, all this confusion that it's hurting people. And I want to see top-down leadership and information that's going to help the people. This is not the time to play political games with people's lives and their livelihoods. This is not the time. So I'm disappointed in both sides of government, in all honesty.
Well, I know of two particular cases where people were misdiagnosed and went to the hospital, and they were sent home, and then both those cases they died eventually. So, Chris, are y'all having that problem in Charlotte as far as diagnosis?
Not really so much, man. I think the problem that they're really having in Charlotte is ventilators. Trying to get ventilators, they're actually out. And so I think it's that being the issue versus misdiagnosing people. I haven't heard much about that.
And I talked to a lady who actually went through the testing, and she said basically they sent her home and said there was nothing she could do. Just go and quarantine yourself. There's nothing we can do. But she took the test. She went through all the procedure. But basically they said, listen, just go straight home. No medicine, anything. Just make sure you stay in. Have y'all had to deal with any of those cases?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's just, it seems like there's nothing being presented to everybody where everybody's on the same page.
Right.
As y'all were saying earlier, like there's not everybody's wearing masks. Now they're saying everybody should wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand. And I know y'all have beautiful weather normally over there, Jimmy, Tim. What about that situation?
Well, I think
Is there something in place saying, listen, you have to wear it?
Yeah, you know, to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, I think we got way too much information coming out of way too many sources, you know, because, you know, we've got television, we've got social media, we've got memes that come out almost every day that'll say like, okay, well, what they're not talking about is all of the people that survive. And it's like, you know, but then that doesn't mean you need to just cover up the people who died. Like they don't matter. You know what I mean? And as far as over here, I mean, we are still optional as far as masks. They strongly encourage it, but it's kind of weird this weekend. I think amidst all of the people, you know, trying to protest and everything, there were more people in grocery stores than I've seen in a while. And of course, you know, I drove up and saw all those people at the grocery store and said, I can wait a little while.
Okay. We're on it now.
Yeah, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. That toilet paper was not that serious that I had to get it right now. You know,
Go grab a sock.
Get yourself a whole sock.
Hey, we got trees in the backyard too, man. You know, just go on and go real old school if you want to.
Newspaper.
Use water too. You can use water.
My bad, you can't find that anymore.
Water.
On a serious note, and I'll start with Mark. What grade would you give your leaders as far as what kind of job they've done in each one of your respective cities? Mark?
I would say about an 80 in my prospective city. Wasn't a total failure, wasn't, you know, excellent, but they did address the problem and got the information out to the public, started social distancing, wearing masks, shutting down all of the non-essential businesses in the area. And I think they did a pretty good job there.
Tony, how are they doing in Louisiana? Because I know that's a tough state to deal with.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of confusion started when it first happened, because I remember Trump saying it was a hoax.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
a lot of it started, you know, and you know, it's just crazy. Here it's just crazy. It's but now they are catching up. You know, we're a red state, but Governor Edwards he has spoke against Trump a couple times. You know, so I think the confusion comes from the leaders up top. Although I will say this. The mayor of New Orleans has banned all gathering of more than 10 people in New Orleans. They just started this week. And I got about 11 exes in New Orleans, so that's great. They need to keep all them women. I'll be having problems, so just keep that to 10 and below. So, you know, add some peace to my life. So I agree with that.
Ayana, most people have given your mayor a high grade for what he's done.
What'd you say?
Most people have given your mayor a high grade for what he's done.
You know what?
The other leaders there.
Mayor Sylvester Turner has done a great job. You know, we knew it was real when they shut that rodeo down. When they shut that rodeo down and everybody was hooping and hollering, crying in and was, you know, it's the rodeo. I said, look, y'all, that's a lot of money. And this is something that we really need to pay attention to if they are already making moves like this. And that's when I started my shopping of, all right, let me get my stuff together. Because I knew that after that, it was just going to be more and more restrictions. But he's done a great job. Every day, we're always getting new information. They're being really aggressive about opening up the testing sites. Now we have the testing sites that will give you the rapid results. He's done a really good job. We have our curfews, you know, and the communication has been great. I love that he ended up in the shade room because he told the criminals, y'all need to stay home and chill. He's doing a really good job of communicating and keeping Houstonians informed and safe and not sugarcoating anything.
Tim?
Hey.
How about your leaders?
They did a great job, man, because like I said, we've been on lockdown and everything since I guess around March 13th. And, and they've slowly made more restrictions as we went along, but they've been good at communication. And the key to communication is people receiving it, and a lot of the people have been obedient with it.
Mhm.
They haven't resisted. They said, like, okay, you said it, then we're just going to, like you say, a matter of life and death. We're not going to go out here and play Russian roulette or be a snake handler, because it's not really that serious. We can all stay at home and chill.
Well, each one of you have a voice in your community because of the type of business that you're in. But it's still baffling that we communicate people through the medium, and they still, especially our own people, they're still not listening. Is there any formula, message you think we can get out as a whole that would make people, I guess, take it more serious? One, and then adhere to a lot of other things. Anybody just jump in.
I guess for me, it would be, my parents are I love them dearly. And we love spending weekends, like every Sunday, we go to my mother and my father's house. My children love seeing their grandparents. And, I think that if I got it, I could survive it. Even though we're seeing younger people, pass from it, I think I could survive it. It would break my heart. I would not be able to live with myself if I thought for 1 second that I took it to them. And so if you want to take chances with yourself, okay, but think about the other people that you come into contact with that have no chance of fighting this. Would you really want that on your conscience?
How do you get through to the millennials who they listen to the music you guys are playing, but they're not necessarily listening to the message about, distancing, masks, looking out for your parents, your grandparents?
Well, I got a 17-year-old and my 14-year-old. Here's the thing, you either roll with what I'm doing here or you don't come here. So with my 14-year-old, it's easier for him. He has absolutely nowhere to go. So he's like, hey, I'm here. But I'm really glad. I've been really open with communicating with him on the severity of this. I make him watch the news with me. So he's very much happy to be home and safe. My 17-year-old, he's just now starting to understand, hey, she's not playing and this is no game. Because I told him, if you want to leave, I won't. Actually, he's 18 now. If you want to leave, I won't stop you, but you cannot come back.
And I know each one of you are strong and you control your households, because I know y'all very well. But I mean, as far as your viewers and listeners, is there something that can be done to get them to stop, treating this like a summertime and congregating and not taking anything serious? They're not wearing masks, they're not doing anything.
I think you just do it, you lead by example, and everyone else, they're going to make their own choices. That's all you really can do right now.
You can't you can't force anybody to do anything, but like she said, you lead by example. I mean, you continue to tell the story and tell the story that's close to you. I mean, I had a daughter-in-law who had got a COVID-19 or coronavirus. Also had my daughter's boyfriend's mother caught it. And of course they lived through it. They're past it now. I mean, coming on out of it, but still, it was right there. You know what I'm saying? So, and the thing of it is, you don't know who has this thing, and so you got to take extra precautions, man, because like you said, it would just do me in. My parents are dead, the dead, but if there was somebody that I loved that I came around and I transferred it to them, I mean, that's not good. That's not good for me. You know what I'm saying? If it's me, that's one thing, but I don't want to take it to no one else.
Has anyone lost a friend or family member since this virus started?
My mother, her coworker lost 4 family members. They were from Louisiana. So my mom's a pharmacist. She sent me the obituary, and they all died relatively within a close time span. They all died close together. I don't want to say the family's name, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else lost a friend or family member? Well, listen, I appreciate you guys' time. I know you're very busy, and hopefully we'll get to do this again. But I want to go out with this question: if by some miracle each one of you were president for a day, starting tomorrow, what's the first thing you would do, Tim?
Well, the first thing I do is try to make sure that everybody in this country was tested, you know, because you have a lot of people that are asymptomatic that are taking these symptoms to people and they're not feeling any of the symptoms yet. But I mean, they could take the virus to different people and that could affect, you know, then, you know, it just kind of goes in a domino effect. If I go into a room full of people and I'm asymptomatic, then I infect all of them, then they infect a whole lot of people everywhere that they go.
That's right.
We need testing. That's the main thing that we need.
I
And
agree.
also, I think I would be a little more transparent too, you know, tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly, and not try to, you know, make it into a performance because, you know, and then, you know, you compound, I know you didn't want all of this extra, but you compound
No,
that
go ahead.
that this is an election year too. So people are going to be doing a whole lot of politicking about everything. So I wouldn't care if, you know, telling the truth was going to get me not reelected because, you know, it's all about life and death. And I would much rather, you know, be at home, not being the leader of the country than to have the blood on my hands of people who died because I didn't give them enough information or enough testing.
Right.
Okay. Tony, president for a day.
First of all, I write a law that will make, if you were president in the past, you could be president again, and I put Obama back in because this is the time that we need a president with some
Amen
compassion.
to that. Amen to that.
Yes, sir.
Because this current president don't have no compassion at all. But
That's it.
since I can't do that, I guess if I was president, my man is right. We need some testing. I don't know how we can even talk about going back to work, and we don't even know who has it. You know, so we got to step up on this testing. I don't know what they're going to do, but whatever needs to be done, I'm confident Trump won't get it done.
Won't get it done? Oh,
Mark.
Whatever it is. Whatever needs to be done, he ain't going to get it done.
Mark, president
Wow.
for a day.
I'll piggyback on testing everyone, and also I would put in place about getting everybody up to speed with their finances, getting with the banks and have them push everybody's note back, you know, and have a moratorium on all these bills so everybody can get back up to speed and comfortable with their life.
Lou?
Including child support.
Exactly.
Yeah, he got my support too. What he said.
About the child support?
But testing is really the key. Testing really is the key, but also treating people like people. And it needs to be equal across the board. It's time out for this political stuff going on, man. I know what he's doing. It's all about him and showing his face on TV, and that's why he's barking back at the reporters and stuff because they're asking legitimate questions and he can't answer.
Yeah.
But also, he's got professionals and he's got the scientists and the doctors who know about this stuff. Let them be up front. He needs to take a side chair and let them do what they do until we can get beyond this thing.
yeah.
Chris, is
I mean,
Chris
that's
still with
crazy.
us, Annie?
Yeah, I'm
Chris?
here.
Yeah, president
Yes.
for a day.
President for a day, complete transparency, man. You know, you wouldn't be asking the question about, you know, do I believe what the government's saying or if there's holding back anything. Complete transparency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that would definitely put people at ease.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, moving forward from there. But first, transparency.
Ayana.
If
President
I'm
for a
president
day.
for a day, we got to stop all bills from being due. We just need to stop the bills. People are stressing about that. There has to be a way to make that happen. All of them. And then the testing, yes. And I would go ahead and enforce the social distancing, and then try to find out a way that we could restructure going back to work and getting the economy going in phases. Whether it's you're separating people and there's the A shift people and the B shift people, how many people can truly work from home? Let's really look at that. This is a great time to look at the model of the American work person and see, is that really the best? Is what we've been doing really the best model? Now that we have all this technology and we see that we can do so much from home, Let's really take this time to restructure our country and so that we can be better than what we were going into this. I don't think we need to go back to the old model just because. Like, let's really take this time to restructure and see how we can do this better, not only for our own personal health, but also for the health of our economy as well. So I would take this time to really, really sit down and restructure.
Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for your time and input, and hopefully this will help some of the viewers that's watching and see that you know, you guys see it from a whole different perspective, and maybe they'll take this a little more serious, and we'll get a chance to check back in with you guys, Mark, Lou, Ayana, Chris, Tim, and Mr. Woods. Definitely appreciate you guys. Again, I want to thank my guests for being part of this COVID-19 conversation. Very special one, as they gave a media perspective, as they talking to listeners and every day, you know, about the situation that's going on. So we appreciate what they do, and hopefully we'll get a chance to check back in with them. This is Dwayne Diamond for GT News.